Good evening. Forget about the latest phone or gadget release. The biggest story breaking in tech right now is about a fundamental shift in how our entire economy is about to work. We're officially moving past the era of AI as a fun, creative toy. No, the AI worker has just clocked in for its first shift, and it's kicking off something we're calling the agentic economy. Let's break down what that really means.
This quote right here, this is the pivot point. We are witnessing a massive, coordinated push to take AI out of the chat window and plug it directly into the real, physical world. So think less about asking an AI to write a quirky poem for you, and think more about asking it to drive your next delivery truck, or assemble a car, or, I don't know, maybe manage an entire construction site.
So what do we even call this new reality? Well, it's the agentic economy. You see, for the last 20 years or so, the internet's value was all about finding information, the Google. Now, the value is shifting to getting things done. It's a move from just retrieving information to actually accomplishing a verifiable task. And that might sound a little technical, but trust me, it's a change that is going to redefine just about everything. So where's the first place we're seeing this massive shift? Simple, just follow the money. Right now, a tsunami of capital is flooding into AI that can actually touch, build, and move things around in the physical world. The robots aren't just coming, they are arriving with some incredibly deep pockets.
Just how serious are we talking? Well, take a look at this number, $520 million. That is the fresh round of funding just injected into a single humanoid robotics startup called Apptronik. And get this, look who's writing the checks. Google, Mercedes-Benz. This isn't just some speculative bet anymore. It is a crystal clear signal that the demand for an AI-powered physical workforce is here, right now.
And that $500 million check for Apptronik? Oh, it is not an outlier. Not even close. Across the board, venture capital funding for humanoid robotics has skyrocketed over 300% in the last year alone. Let's be really clear about this. This isn't a trend. It's an industrial gold rush, with investors literally racing to fund the autonomous workforce of the future. But, this revolution isn't just about building shiny new robots from the ground up. Take a look at what Bedrock Robotics is doing with their fresh $270 million. Their idea is brilliant. It's to retrofit the machines we already have. They've built a system that just bolts onto an existing excavator, making it fully autonomous in just a couple of hours. This is like a surgical strike on the huge productivity problem that has been plaguing the construction industry for decades. And this isn't just happening in some lab somewhere. It's on our highways. Right now, Aurora's driverless trucks are already running some of the most critical freight routes in the country. Let's take the Fort Worth to Phoenix route. That's a 1,000-mile haul. A human driver is legally required to stop and rest. The Aurora driver, it just keeps going, which effectively cuts the transit time in half. And this is exactly why Aurora's CEO calls it the era of superhuman logistics. And you know what? He's not exaggerating. When your fleet doesn't need to sleep, you're not just making things a little more efficient, you are operating in an entirely different reality. You're creating a logistical advantage that is physically impossible for a human-driven fleet to ever match. But okay, once you have an army of autonomous workers, a huge new problem pops up: security. I mean, when a robot logs into your factory system, or a truck needs to access your shipping manifest, how do you actually know it's a trusted agent and not some hacker in disguise? This is the new identity crisis that every single company is now facing. This ratio really puts the problem into perspective. In the average large company today, for every single human employee, there are 80 non-human identities that need access to systems. 80. Our entire security playbook for the last 30 years was built to protect the one, not the 80. It is completely, utterly obsolete. And this is the strategic thinking behind Palo Alto Networks' massive acquisition of CyberArk. Their CEO, Aurora, he put it plainly: the future requires us to secure every identity. It's no longer about human security versus machine security. It's now one single battlefield. You have to defend your entire workforce, both the biological and the digital, with one unified strategy. But building, deploying, and then securing this new AI workforce, well, it comes with an astronomical price tag. And now the bill is coming due. The pressure to cover these massive costs is forcing even the biggest players in AI to make some, let's call them, uncomfortable compromises. Case in point, OpenAI. It really wasn't that long ago that CEO Sam Altman called the idea of ads in AI uniquely unsettling, a total last resort.
Well, it seems we have officially arrived at the last resort. OpenAI has begun testing ads in ChatGPT, a direct consequence of the immense pressure to pay for its staggering operational costs.
So, as you can imagine, this move has ignited a firestorm, and it raises a pretty critical question. Is this a slippery slope? I mean, once you open that door to advertising, can you really maintain the user's trust that the AI's answers are objective? And we got a pretty chilling answer from someone inside OpenAI. A researcher named Zoe Hitzeg just resigned over this exact issue. Her argument is that, look, even if the first batch of ads follows the rules, the company is building an economic engine where the incentive to bend and then eventually break those rules will become irresistible. So the key takeaway here is that the debate isn't really about ads. It's about the fundamental business model for AI itself. This tension between a company's goals and a user's trust brings us to our final theme for the night, the messy, complicated relationship between us humans and these powerful news systems. We're being given more control, but it kind of raises a deeper question of competence. Can we really trust the machine that we're trying to steer?
Take Meta's latest feature on Threads, for example. They're giving users what you could call a temporary steering wheel, and it's called Dear Algo. You can literally write a post telling the algorithm what you want to see, and it will adjust your feed for the next 3 days. It's a really fascinating attempt to give users a sense of control over that dreaded misery feed. But here's the pivot. We can tell these systems what we want, but can we actually trust their underlying competence? I mean, how good are these large language models at actual fundamental reasoning?
A new research paper called Quantum Audit gives us a jaw-dropping answer. Researchers tested top AI models and found that while they're brilliant at answering basic questions, scoring nearly 93%, their competence completely collapses when they're faced with what's called a false premise. That means if you ask a question that has a subtle error baked right into it, the AI doesn't spot the error. Its accuracy just plummets below 66% because it simply accepts the faulty premise and tries to build an answer on a rotten foundation.
So let's connect all the dots from tonight. The agentic economy isn't a forecast anymore. It's today's reality. The AI workforce is being industrialized in our factories and on our roads. The security infrastructure is being rapidly assembled to manage it. And the difficult, messy business of who pays for it all has officially begun.
And that leaves all of us with the one question we're all going to be grappling with. As these agents, which we now know have some pretty fundamental reasoning flaws, become our coworkers and our tools, who is ultimately on the hook when one of them gets it wrong? That's the story for tonight. Thanks for watching.